There's this thing called karma. Or is it payback? Or is it poetic justice? Take your pick, but, whatever it is, it's what I think's happening to Phillip Schofield right now. Schofield is hanging on to his presenting job at This Morning in much the same way Leonardo DiCaprio hung on to that old door in the freezing cold waters of the Atlantic after the Titanic hit a rock. I think he knows he's a dead man, but he's hanging on anyway, ever the optimist. The big difference is he doesn't have a Kate Winslet willing him to live. He's got a Holly Willoughby who, I suspect, if it was Phil's freezing little fingers hanging onto a door bobbing about in the ocean, she'd happily pick them off one by one. Do I feel sad for Scof, as he likes to call himself? Not in the slightest, and I'm not sure many others do either. He's become deeply unpopular with the people he works with. He's also reportedly made lots of enemies down the years, people he's allegedly treated with hauteur and disdain. Tory's destruction of Boris will gift country to Keir Starmer. They can never be forgiven, and I don't think viewers much like him at the moment either. The word they keep using about him is fake. That, together with his recent jollity with Holly, is turning them a bit sick. That's not to say they're not tuning in, they are, but only seemingly to watch the Schofield/Holly drama. Because what's clear is that after 14 years, the game's up. The friendship/partnership that at one point was a genuine one, appears to be over. So what happened? Well, in my opinion, like a lot of overpaid celebrities, Schofield, 61, got to be way too up himself. He believed his own publicity and had an inflated sense of his own importance. I think he believed himself to be invincible and indispensable, not understanding that no one, not even those on £2 million a year, are indispensable. Even This Morning's editor, Martin Frizzell, once Schofield's staunchest ally, has had enough. He is alleged to have said he's sick of clearing up Schofield's mess. More than 14 years ago, when the fabulous Fern Britton left This Morning, there were lots of rumors as to why. One of them was that she earned way less than him and left because of it. But Fern herself has always denied this was the reason. She says, "Something happened and I just thought, that's it. And I walked away. I was treated pretty poorly, actually." Schofield admitted in his autobiography that he'd had an argument with Fern that may have led her to quitting. Don't miss. 2.5 meters Brits on long-term sick, sometimes their illnesses aren't immediately apparent. Latest: Putin's war in Ukraine is based on a lie, and he knows it, says John Bryson. Discover rape victims safe from ordeal of police phishing, says Ed Arger. Insight: she'd accused him of meddling in the show's content, which he does, and he says he told her, "Don't ever do that to me again." But from where I was sitting, and in those days I often did the show, it struck me that Schofield didn't much like Fern because she was, and is, way cleverer than him. She was more than his equal. And I think he didn't want an equal. He wanted to be top dog, and with Fern, he never would be. And so at the auditions for her replacement, he was delighted when the beautiful, angelic Holly turned up. This sweet girl looked like an angel. She wasn't too bright. She wasn't pushy. She was happy for Schofield to take the lead with the big political interviews. He realized with this little blonde novice by his side he'd be the out-and-out star. Only it didn't quite work out like that. Over the years it's Holly who's emerged as the real star, the one viewers love, the one who gets the big money deals outside of This Morning. It's Holly who has become the asset that ITV will do anything to keep. And Phil, well, Phil's 61 now. He's looking like the old stag who's had his day, and Holly, the little fawn who once used to look up to him with adoring eyes, doesn't need him anymore. And hasn't for a long time. I suppose I finally lost faith with Schofield when in February 2020 he suddenly announced he was gay. Obviously not because he was gay, because many in the media had suspected it for years. My problem was that Phil told us that, finally, after 27 years of marriage, he'd realized he was gay. Seriously? It took him 27 years? It's odd because he also said in another interview that he'd known he was gay when he married his wife Steph, but did it anyway. He also talked incessantly about his emotional turmoil, his torment, but nowhere near enough about the torment of his poor family. I resented him because for decades he'd chosen to live a lie. He pretended to be straight in an era when I believe he never needed to. His wasn't a job where coming out would have been career suicide. In fact, the joy in Britain now is that there are few jobs, if any, where that would ever be the case. ITV is awash with gay presenters because this is the 21st century, for God's sake. Schofield didn't have to pretend to be straight. He chose to live a lie. He lied to his poor wife, to his family. He lied to the millions of This Morning viewers who invited him into their homes every day, many of whom spilled their most intimate secrets to him. Yet we all had to sit through those weeping, emotional scenes of this hero who'd finally had the courage to reveal his sexuality. Trouble was, all I could see was a man who'd willfully lied to his family for nearly 3 decades. My sympathy was with them, not him. Imagine if he'd come out sooner. He could have spared his wife and family so much pain. Imagine what using his public platform to talk about his sexuality could have done for legions of young men hesitant to declare theirs. But hey, he wrote a book about it all, and I'm sure made pots of money. So at least he got something out of it. I fear there is so much more to come out about Phil Schofield. And maybe one day it will. But for now all we have is a dead duck of a TV partnership. Lots of TV's big names are telling their agents they don't want to be anywhere near This Morning because they don't want to be caught up in the fallout. Schofield has brought in his lawyers, always a sign of desperation, and last week he put out a statement that Holly is still his friend and his rock. Without ever telling Holly. I think Scof needs to accept that his time is up. For a bloke who started his showbiz life on kids' TV showcasing a glove puppet called Gordon the Gopher, he's done pretty well. In the 14 years he's been on This Morning he's earned multi-millions, enough so that he'll never need work again. But I suspect for Schofield it's not just about the money anymore. It's about the fame, the celebrity, the adoration. He needs that like he needs air, and he must surely know that when This Morning is over there'll never be anything like it for him again. Like I said at the start. Karma.